Hello, people. My name is Shaggy, the opinionated hippie. Elsewhere on this channel, ranking and reviewing the Frank Zappa tours he played in his life. I only have two more left, but I'm taking a short little break, and I recently made a video ranking and reviewing the 7 Little Feat albums that Lowell George was a part of. The reason doing that because Lowell George was in the 68 and 69 Mothers of Invention, and I think it might be an actual rule that if you make a video about albums, you also must make a sort of accompanying video about songs. So these are my 10 favorite Little Feat songs. I had to leave a lot of really, really, really good songs off this list because I could only put 10 on it. Not going to give any special shout outs. Not going to let you know who missed the list barely, who 11 and 12 are. Just going to have to spend the rest of your life guessing. But these are the 10 that I think more often make me the happiest in the Little Feat catalog. And it is an incredible catalog. So, yeah, I highly recommend you check out more than just these 10 songs. But here are my 10 favorite Little Feat songs. Number 10, The Fan. This is all Feats Don't Fail Me Now. It's sort of a, kind of has a proggy, jammy element to it. Again, it's your kind of funky Lowell George delivery, funky Lowell George lyrics. It's about, even though there's a line in it when the S hits the fan has always seemed to refer to like the character in the story who Lowell George is singing about, who was kind of maybe a groupie, hooked up with a pop star, got an infection after her rejection. There is an absolutely amazing line, my favorite line from the song, lyric from the song, right before they go off into the jam, which is like this nice little guitar solo and this really good keyboard solo. But the lyric is, "You were a sweet girl, but you were a cheerleader. Well, I think you're much better now." And then they go off into the guitar solo. But that whole sort of like diss, that like backhanded compliment, and the way Lowell George delivers it, absolutely fantastic. Just a really funky, kind of slightly proggy, yeah, just Lowell George classic, The Fan. Number 9, Snakes on Everything, the first song on the first Little Feat album, a Bill Payne composition. Wrote it, sings it, drums kick in, slide guitar, and then he just drops in this "someone looking out for me," almost like a definitely has a rough, gritty kind of just edge to it. Does not mention snakes on everything anywhere in the lyrics, but sort of the hook, the chorus is, "I ain't made sense in so long, I almost quit trying." Some great guitar slide work in there, amazing piano, just a great opening track to their first album ever, probably Bill Payne's best composition by far, to my ears. Just great sort of country blues rock, just classic, man. Like undescribable as all other Little Feat songs are, but just like a typical great early Little Feat song. Snakes on Everything. Number 8, All That You Dream. And I'm specifically going to pick the version, even though the song itself is great, and I love the studio version, the performance by Linda Ronstadt on the Hoy Hoy compilation. It was at a Lowell George sort of memorial after he passed away. Her performance, her vocals, it is like her at her absolute like mid-70s, tumbling dice, you're no good, poor, poor, pitiful me, like rock, edge, like she is singing her butt off. The arrangement is amazing. It's the one where they don't go into that dun 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 dun, but they kind of lay down a groove for a while, and then when they finally get to that hook, that dun 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 dun, it's funkier and just more like just locked in than like almost any other version. It is just such a great tribute to Lowell George, and Ronstadt's vocal is just better than Lowell George's vocal on the original. Like Linda Ronstadt just kills it. She makes it her own, as she does with almost anything she sings. My mom was a big Linda Ronstadt fan when I was growing up, and I discovered both the Rolling Stones and Warren Zevon through Linda Ronstadt, and I still think Linda Ronstadt's versions of Tumbling Dice and Poor Poor Pitiful Me are better than the originals, which is You know, when you hear something when you're 5 or 6, it just kind of gets ingrained in your head. But yeah, I have a big crush on Linda Ronstadt, and she absolutely kills All That You Dream, which is an amazing song. And this would probably be number 10 if I had to go to the studio version. But it's going to be one of my number 8 because of her performance. And again, this isn't one, I don't think Lowell George wrote the lyrics on this. This might be either a Barrera or Payne number, if I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Barrera and Payne wrote the whole song and the lyrics. So I don't think the lyrics are as clever or catchy or as matter as much as they do in a Lowell George song. But that groove and just the melody. It's a really strong song, but specifically that Linda Ronstadt Hoy Hoy version, fantastic. Number 8. Number 7, 2 Trains. This is off Dixie Chicken, the second track of the album on side A Lowell George pen number. He sings it. It is about 2 trains running. It is a metaphor for not a threesome, but a love triangle. That's the word I'm looking for. And that, Lowell George is in love with a woman, but now apparently there's another train on that track. And it's a really good, it's a very easily to grasp metaphor, but it's some pretty good dealing of the subject, like the lines, easy, I say easy, I can't push or shove her, so I guess I really care. It's just about like addressing the situation, like how do you deal with the fact that your woman might love somebody else, and then if the woman took one train and left the other behind, 2 trains running. It is just a great song. It is great musically. Lowell George's singing is perfect as always. It's probably one of his more like emotionally heavy songs, but it's just not, it's just perfect. Like it's not sappy, it's not cheesy. It's a perfect sort of metaphor for a love triangle that you don't want to be in. Like you want that triangle, you want that part of the triangle to go away. Let's get back to just being a straight line. But anyways, yeah, it's a great treatment of that kind of topic, and it's just an absolutely amazing pop rock song with a little bit of funk thrown in there. Yeah, 2 Trains, number 7. Number 6, Skin It Back, Paul Barrera number off Feats Don't Fail Me Now. This is the 3rd on that track on the first side. This is just super funky number with the dun, 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 little nice little keyboard riff, some great guitar licks. Barrera's delivery on it, his vocals kind of have a Lowell George, almost like staccato stutter step to them at times. Sort of about, I think it's about, being in a band, going from town to town and having groupies, and the Skin It Back refers to his uncircumcised nature, apparently. It's a great, really funky song. And just the part that Texas, she's nice, but Georgia's oh so sweet. Still away. I mean, his vocal performance on this is great. I wish I could sing, man, because I would sing this song a lot. But this is just a really, really good funk number that manages to like hold its own against Lowell George's best, which is not easy to do. But yeah, I'm just realizing right now we got a lot of Payne and Barrera on this list. We got 3 songs that made the list. I think that's it. I don't think they make the list anymore. But I'm impressed. They did a good job. So anyways, yeah, number 6, Skin It Back. Number 5, Crack in Your Door. Probably my favorite Lowell George vocal performance. Just, there is so much character in his voice. Pretty much about like being in love with someone whose parents don't like you. Maybe a teenage type thing. But very like, the old man doesn't like me and neither does mom. And the opening line, I don't even know what I did wrong, just sets you up for this amazing just journey over the next like 2.5, 3 minutes. Get like a verse, chorus. We drop into a ridiculous guitar solo for like 20 seconds that just tears up the scenery. And then we get like more lyrics at the end that just kind of wrap up the tale, and the song's over. And it's perfect. And it's just perfect. Another just great, perfect country, pop, rock, folk, jammy blues number by Little Feat. So don't let the wind through the crack in your door. Just don't do that. Don't let it in. I can't sing. I wish I could sing. Picked up on my phone in Houston. Everybody answered. Texas Rose Cafe, number 4, closing track off Sailing Shoes. Another just weird little story by Lowell George about being in Texas and trying to get a hold of people, and goes to Austin where he falls in love, drinking Lone Star, playing guitar. We'll have a just a great song with the best closing line ever. So there's a bunch of lyrics. We get a nice little kind of weird little almost proggy jam in the middle or towards the end of it. And then the very last lines, since that time I changed my mind about the things I'm up to, yet the things around me stay just the same. But that's not the killer. This line, 'cause outside my hotel window is a sign that turns from red and green. It says, chop suey, bum, 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 and join the U.S. Marines, right? So I think that's a commentary on the Vietnam War. I think there's very much a vibe in a lot of what Little Feat and Lowell George does, in which he's writing from the viewpoint of like an outsider, but not like an outsider who just doesn't fit in anywhere, but somebody who once belonged to like a hippie movement or the freaks in LA, the mother freak scene, or some sort of like counterculture movement. But now we're moving into the 70s, and like people are distancing themselves from that. And as we will see in a song that pops up in a couple more, like explicitly he addresses that theme. But a lot of these are like from that viewpoint where you just don't get what's going on in America. And I've always taken this line as like, because outside my hotel window is a sign that turns from red and green. It says, chop suey and join the U.S. Marines. It's just like a commentary on just the racist nature of our politics and our wars and who we go fight and who we go kill and how we express that and how, all that kind of stuff. But he boils it down to that final little line. I think is just brilliant. And I have to think that it's in context of like this era, a 1972 song, because he's very much conscious about like being who he is in society and the way people look at him, and just, yeah. Anyways, that's my commentary. Amazing, amazing song. Dixie Chicken, number 3, probably the best set of lyrics he wrote. Really funky, simple, straightforward sort of song. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. But spoiler alert, it's one of the most perfectly written stories. First verse, meets a girl, falls in love. Whenever she gets excited, she starts to sing, if you be my Dixie Chicken. Second verse, doesn't realize it, but they had a really good time. Apparently they got married. They now have a house. Don't know how that happened, but it kind of doesn't matter, because when she's really happy and she calls his name, she sings, if you be my Dixie Chicken. Third verse, after a short little like musical interlude. It's been a while. She's run away with the guitar player. He's going to a bar to drown away his sorrows. Bartender gives him a drink, and as bartender turns around, he begins to hum a song. And all the boys, they begin to hum along. You know what that song is? If you be my Dixie Chicken. Yeah, so she broke a lot of hearts, and probably emptied a lot of bank accounts by the sound of it. I don't know. But yeah, an almost perfect song. Probably should be number 1, but the other 2 songs are also almost perfect. Number 2, Strawberry Flats. The second song on the first Little Feat album. This is the one that explicitly sort of addresses the sort of like being an outsider in like normal society. There is a set of lyrics. Knocked on my friend's door in Moody, Texas, and asked if he had a place for me. His hair was cut off and he was wearing a suit. He said, not in my house, not in my house. You look like you're part of a conspiracy. And that just to me like encapsulates everything that kind of Little Feat like represents. Like Lowell George and the bass player came from the mothers of invention, the LA late 60s freak scene, and what the mothers represented. And now he's trying to he's left that scene and he's like going around the country touring as a rock band, trying to fit into society. But like he still is identifying his mental space as being a part of that scene, but nobody else is having it, including like a former friend who's cut his hair off and he's wearing a suit. That actually happened to me, which is why I probably love this song so much. I think it was on Fish Tour in like 97 on the East Coast, and I called a friend of mine from college who I hadn't seen since college, but we had stayed in touch. I was like, dude, can we crash at your place? He was married at that point. I wasn't, but we pulled into his like really nice house, and his hair was cut off, and I don't think he was wearing a suit, but he was a little not as welcome to us as he would have been like in our college days. You could see he was definitely like, oh, so you're still doing this? I'm like, yeah, guy got a job, but it's summer. I'm a teacher. Leave me alone. So anyways, yeah. So I really relate to this lyric. But the whole entire thing is just full of amazing lyrics. Yeah, it's just an amazing song. It's about traveling, like being a truck. It sounds like about being a trucker or just traveling. There's a whole line about trying to get to Waco before it freezes over. They're stopping everyone who looks too weird it's a school bus, Texas roadblock. Just like, oh yeah, just great lyrics. And it's still the case where if you go to certain places here in Texas, if you look too weird, you just don't want to be there. It's, I don't think we have sundown towns anymore, but it's the closest thing to them. Still kind of exist on the outskirts of some of these big cities in Texas. So it's still kind of a scary place. But anyways, yeah, Strawberry Flats, number 2. And now number 1, down the road, number 1, Feats Don't Fail Me Now. Just a perfect little New Orleans funk, weird, slightly prog kind of weird number. The first like intro before the lyrics kick in, it's almost perfect, just with this great the drum intro, and then the slide guitar, and then the piano comes in with this little and then right before you get the lyrics, the bass does this little run, and then Lowell George's vocal performance again. He's just off kilter and working against the rhythm, and I mean he's all over the place rhythmically. His lyrics are like kind of non sequitur, but definitely painting this picture of like someone who's kind of living out of hotels, and he's maybe got mistresses or groupies, and they're there to serve him. And like the last line, the whole last part, there's like a bunch of lyrics, and then this weird little, not really solos, but this almost composed weird like prog puzzle in the middle. And then the ending lines are, do you want my every thought? Will come over here and try to get me off. Won't you please me? And then shake your dignity, put a little on me. Just like demeaning, but oh so captures like a relationship between a rock star and like a groupie. That I think much better, and maybe not better, but in an entirely different way than someone, say, like Frank Zappa would approach the same topic. But just that line, shake your dignity, put a little on me, is just like, man. And to have Lowell George deliver that line with that voice after the funk jam that sort of preceded the entire song, which is just like, dun, 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 dun. I mean, just so funky. Such an amazing song. God, just great. My favorite. Anyways, that's it. My top 10 Little Feat songs. I left a lot off because they're a really good band, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Thanks for watching. Let me know your favorites. Comment below, all that stuff. And it was awesome in the album video to discover that there's a lot of Zappa fans, since most of the people watching this channel are Zappa fans, who are also some pretty hardcore Little Feat fans. And of course they should be, because they're both excellent bands, excellent musicians. But anyways, thanks for watching. Peace. Oh, wearing a hat today because it's 40 degrees hotter today than it was yesterday. And in 2 days, it's supposed to be 60 degrees colder than it is today. So yeah, Texas in the winter kind of sucks. All right, that's it. Peace, y'all. Bye.